Welcome back to the Two Comma Club podcast. Today I am with Gabor Kriston, and I'm really excited about this episode. He is the funnel hacker who outconverted the funnel king of funnels himself, Russell Brunson. He's a funnel agency owner, a 2CC award winner, and the creator of funnel hacking tools. So, Gabor, if you wouldn't mind sharing, when you say you outconverted the king of funnels, give us a little bit of background on that. What happened exactly?
First of all, I'm glad to be here and I'm happy to share the story. You see my bookshelf, I got all the books from Russell Brunson. So I learned everything about funnels from him. And it's a very rare occasion that you can actually measure up your knowledge against the funnel king himself. So in 2023, ClickFunnels organized a competition called Funnel Games. It was the first ever Funnel Games they did, and they invited many funnel hackers, funnel agency owners, and we didn't really know what the competition will be all about, right? So we thought that we're gonna compete against each other, which is already fun enough, but it turned out we actually had to compete against Russell Branson's best performing, highest grossing funnel ever, which was the magnetic marketing funnel at that point. So even he said like, don't worry, don't feel under pressure. If you don't come close, we did this for so long, optimize this funnel, spend a ton of money on ads to A/B test it. So it was like no pressure. And then we had 24 hours, to do something about it, come up with something inventive, a creative twist. So I was part of a team with the guys from agency coach Mike Schmidt, AJ Rivera. So the three of us we sat together, literally spent probably like 16 hours out of those 14 hours analyzing the funnel, the weaknesses. We use some AI, which probably we are going to talk about more later on, and we were able to identify some flaws of the funnel. So no funnel is perfect. It was written by humans. There's still some room for error. Uh, so we did that, and we were like, okay, it's gonna be a quite good submission. We didn't have high hopes like we're gonna be first or second or whatever, and we submitted it. And it turned out that the video inside the funnel, funny story, was broken because it wasn't playing sound. We uploaded the video to YouTube, and due to copyright reasons, YouTube blocked the audio. So imagine a funnel that's video heavy with a VSL in it, and the VSL doesn't play sound, right? And we were like, okay, we're done, we're toast, right? And they were actually driving traffic against this funnel, against all the competing funnels, and it turned out that our funnel was among the best, and we not only uh, were able to match Russell's conversions, but we have doubled his conversions in under 24 hours with a broken VSL. So
Wow.
I was like, oh, if we could have fixed the VSL, what numbers we could have, gotten. So it's still a mystery to date, what numbers we would be able to produce. But it's like it was a identity shift, like, or a belief shift. You can actually outconvert a funnel that is one of the best in under 24 hours with the right approach. So yeah, that's the story.
That's amazing. I love that. Do you think, just out of curiosity, do you think the fact that it was muted contributed at all to the conversion? Like people were so curious and they couldn't hear it, and now they're like,
We don't know. Maybe they read more, So yeah, we could never figure that out. We never had the chance, obviously, to interview the people who saw that funnel. But yeah, that's you know, uh, it's an interesting assumption that that could contributed to the success. Yeah, you just want to have mute VSS on all the funnels from now on to double their conversions, right?
If people are really curious, they'll opt in and get the rest of the story.
Yeah,
uh,
yeah,
that's good.
yeah.
Awesome. So I'm curious to know a little bit about your background and how it is that you kind of came across the world of funnels in the first place and then got to where you're at now.
All right, it's quite a long story. So it's probably like 15 years since I'm in the online space. I had a marketing background, but never really worked in marketing until I wanted to start an online business myself, but I needed a website. I didn't know how websites were built really, so I was asking for quotes, and I got two quotes: a $5,000 quote from here and a $10,000 quote from there. And I was like, oh man, that's a ton of money. So, and one of the candidates hinted about the system that they're gonna build this on, and it was WordPress. So I was like, what is WordPress? And I looked it up, and eventually I was able to do that site myself. I was like, oh, these guys were asking 5 or 10 grand to make this happen for me, and I was able to do it myself. So the business eventually failed due to uh, you know several circumstances, but I got the awareness of, hey, I can do this, and I can charge good money to make it happen for other people. So I stick with creating website. I got into software engineering. I educated myself, and eventually I started an agency. Yeah, and that's the beginning of the story. And I was doing quite well, mostly in Hungary, and I had a startup, and I still do, that I wanted to market globally. Yeah, and I was aware that just um, doing the website approach won't be enough. I need more, direct marketing driven practices and enter funnels. Right? Who's the expert? Who could I learn from? And that's when I found Russell Brunson. Learned a lot about funnels to help my startup, but as I was, getting all this knowledge, and I was channeling it back to my growing agency, I figured, we could transition from just doing websites, ads, to doing more funnel work. And, I become friends with many people in the funnel space, like Mike and AJ from Agency Coach, the creators of Funnel Hub. And yeah, we entered into this games. We became the top agency, and yeah, the rest is history. And I was starting to hop on the AI bandwagon, and I was thinking about how to accelerate our agency work with AI. And I created several tools, and one of the tools has actually contributed to this funnel game success, because we used AI to actually dissect that funnel and identify what could be improved. And yes, we're having a good run with the software. We're still doing some uh, agency work. So this is quite a story to this date. And yeah, we have many things going on right now.
Awesome. Very cool. So, in terms of those AI tools that you're currently fascinated with and have found that have helped you with the funnel space, what do those include exactly, if you don't mind me asking?
Yeah, so uh, I identified 6 core things that normally uh, you know contribute to people under leveraging AI. And as I was trying to accelerate the agency work, I was incorporating these 6 solutions to the 6 problems on how I use AI. And basically, all tools allow people to model successful funnels. So we built a database of funnels that made at least $1 million. So we have like 400 funnels from different niches, and we build a tool to basically easily model these funnels. So all tools can store information of different business contexts, these can be clients or different funnels. And when you want to do something new, right, you can look up the right funnel in the database and use our AI tools to model the copy, and the AI will combine the business information and the copy of the funnel that you're modeling, and it's gonna recreate it, because those are proven patterns. Those people have spent a ton of money, perfecting the copy, perfecting the structure. So all funnel hacking is about, modeling what works. And like we literally shorten the path of modeling down to a single click. Once you select the right business context, you can model a funnel with one click. I'm talking about the copy, and then we have ways to accelerate the actual build. But that was quite the breakthrough. And not only that, because modeling is the first step, right? But what we did with Russell, like, okay, now what are the flaws? What are the unhandled objections in this funnel, right? And a human has limited willpower, limited attention span to look at the funnel or a marketing copy from different angles. But with AI, you can literally look at the marketing copy from 20 different angles under 10 minutes, and then fix those conversion leaks, those flaws, the argument flaws, the unhandled objections quite easily, right? And that will make you achieve higher conversions, better revenue numbers. So this is quite fascinating, like what you can do. And obviously, like the fact that we don't have to write prompts, and we don't have to make AI remember the client's business information all the time, because it's stored there, makes us able to work really really fast.
Definitely.
So yeah,
Yeah, I
that's
think
that's
that's
uh, what we're using in the background to get these results and accelerate our agency work.
That's really cool. It's awesome how you've handpicked the data points that are going to give you the best results, being all like the 7 figure plus funnels and everything in that nature. Because I mean, at least it's my personal understanding, and if you feel any differently, please share your side. But like, I think AI and the way that we use it is basically a tool that allows us to process information faster than we are able to. So like
Yeah,
having that database of all those points and everything, and that's a
yeah,
really awesome use case for it. What other
absolutely.
things are you using AI for?
So we're using AI to plan. If we have like a new client who is not even able to articulate what their business is about, we use AI to get their value ladder fleshed out, what kind of funnels they need, what are the do the market research, the pain points, the benefits of what they are doing, what kind of objections need to be handled to make their product appealing for the target market. So we use it for planning and research as well. And obviously sometimes you just won't be able to find the very very example that you would need to model it. So sometimes you still have to start from scratch, but with AI you can get a lot more done in a shorter time span. So we have these workflows defined in case when we don't have the examples to model, so we could still get the job done. So we use it for research, we use it for modeling, we use it for perfecting, and now we are trying to enter into the next phase when we're trying to actually use it to build the funnels. So yeah, that's something we are experimenting with right now. So if we're gonna crack that, then that's gonna be super awesome. Be
Oh yeah,
close.
that's awesome. How far away do you think you guys are timeline wise from hitting that?
So pretty close, pretty close. I've got some good results. We just want to make it stable, and we don't want to give it to the hands of our users until we are confident that it's going to do the right thing. At least most of the times. Uh, I think we're never gonna get to the point where you literally don't have to lift your fingers or do some manual work with AI, because ultimately it still cannot read your mind, make it away like you imagine, and sometimes you were not even you're not even able to articulate like how you want it. That is like core. It's same with if you have a team member or you want to hire someone. Until you are not perfectly able to articulate what you want and how you want it, you can't even get it done with AI, because AI still needs the instructions. So that's you know an insight that I'm trying to make myself remember all the time. Like, be good at articulating what you want to get done, because otherwise the results will be off compared to what you want to see, right?
100%. I know one of the most recent podcast episodes I did, we talked a lot about how, for anybody who's listening, like one of the number one skills you can develop today is actually just, you know, communication more specifically and articulation, as you're saying, and really being able to communicate with AI because it's going to be capable of doing so
Yeah,
much in the next 5, 10 years that it's really important to do that.
absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. You essentially will become the strategist, and AI will be the executor. And even like initially, people thought that the most mundane jobs will be taken away from people by AI, and it turns out the expert jobs are also at risk, like coders. Like I literally tested an AI software that was able to do something that I was working on for months in minutes. And I was like, oh my God, what's happening here? And it's just gonna get better. But I think at least you will always need to have a high level understanding in whatever domain or niche you want to leverage AI in, just for the very reason that without that you won't be able to even think out what you want AI to do. So that will be still a necessity, but you're not gonna do the low level uh, stuff of executing on what you envision should happen. So
100%. Yeah, like all the
that's what I
grunt work
think
and
AI is heading.
yeah, yeah, for sure. So to take this back to your journey a little bit, uh, what were the strategies that you used to get in front of your customers in the beginning and ultimately like get discovered? If you want to save time on watching all the episodes, but still get all the gold nuggets that we find from interviewing these 7, 8, and 9 figure entrepreneurs, then you can get all of that inside of the 2 Comma Club newsletter. Just go to 2ccnewsletter.com and subscribe.
With the AI software, or with the agency.
I guess we'll start with the agency. Yeah.
Yeah. So you want to put your face out there. You can do a lot of like lead generation, and hide behind the screen, and just uh, try to do everything online, but you have to be out there. You have to be good at networking, get yourself known, be like likable, right, and approachable, and just enter into many conversations. Aside from lead generation, which obviously very very essential, you just want to build a lot relationships, because sometimes one relationship can take you further than 1,000 new leads, because how they say it, you want to be in the room, right? And yeah, I believe you should e- just instead of going for like doing things the hard way, okay, you can scale lead generation, but I'm a big fan of doing the impactful things, and try to look for the things that can immediately shift businesses, like the creative approaches, like the story of the Gordian knot. everybody's trying to untie it, and then someone just cuts it with a sword. So like there's an obvious way that can immediately get problems. So a lot of networking, obviously, lead generation, uh, and trying to do things differently, right? Because that's what makes you get noticed, right? So sometimes you can do the same things, or have these incremental improvements, but sometimes you just have to step back and spend some time to come up with something really cool, yeah, something really cool that people will notice, and it becomes the part of the conversation, and you're like, did you see that this guy done this and that, so you will stand out. Basically, you have to come up with something that makes you unique, and makes you different from what everybody else is doing. And yeah, I think that was key. I was always like having one target that I got really obsessed with, and I after a lot of research and digging into it, came up with a new angle that I was able to capitalize on, and lead with my lead generation, like being front of the trends. Like the funnel hub in the funnel space was a new thing. Everybody was like, hey, websites are dead, and I was the first of the people who jumped on the funnel hub bandwagon. And I was able to introduce that new trend to many clients, and they became aware of this new thing from me. So I was staying on. I'm always trying to stay top of trends. Like now, AI is the next thing, and how do you leverage AI? So you should be the reporter. If you're not the inventor, you should be the reporter who reports first about the trends, and that makes you seem as the expert, and you will be the expert eventually.
That's awesome. I love that. That's very sound advice. Key takeaway being like differentiate yourself. And I love how you talked about how you're focusing on being ahead of the trends and things there. What were some of the things that you've done in addition to the funnel hub space and the AI that have helped you to kind of differentiate yourself when you're actually like in the room networking with people?
So I love the online space. I love uh, everything about funnels, but I'm also a big fan of personal development, and trying to strive for that. I'm not saying work-life balance, but the right amount of things at the right time. Sometimes you have to work hard, and put work-life balance aside, or just at least have some quality time, but not as much as you want. But the fact that I think many people are looking for that. Entrepreneurs. I just read this somewhere. If you're an entrepreneur, you quit your 9 to 5 to work 24 hours a day when it's needed, and most of the time you'll be there until you get to a point where you can step back from your business. So when you're talking to entrepreneurs and you're able to talk about something else that is not their business, but what they want. Uh, if you're an entrepreneur, a business owner, that's the best personal development course you can ever get. But you just realize like how much you don't know, how much you should get your priorities right. So whoever I'm talking to and is an entrepreneur, they will have this need to be able to uh, step back from the business a bit, find more balance in their lives. And I'm not only talking about this, but I actually have a software created. It's called Bliss Compass, uh, that I'm always introducing to these entrepreneurs I'm talking to, because I think if you're an entrepreneur, at one point you go through burnout, right? And it's increasingly becoming a common theme, and people just don't know how to handle that. And it's not their fault. It's because we have all this information bombarding us, and especially if you're in the online space, you have to stay on top of what's happening on your social media. You're not just a consumer, but a content creator, and then you're looking for, oh, am I getting good engagement? So you're more hooked to these things that make you a bit distant from what truly matters. And if you're just aware of that especially entrepreneurs are in the same shoes as you are in this particular uh, case, and you're open to their needs, you know and you pay attention that they want to be heard, they want to release the stress, and if you're a good listener and able to help them even just a bit, you're essentially having a deeper connection, and that opens up many things side of business, not only in business. So I think that's key, being able to notice that people got needs outside of just running their business, and connect human to human, not the business owner to business owner.
Yeah, definitely more of the like genuine relationship building type of
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah, I think that that's one of the things that at least I'm noticing you probably are as well in the space, especially online. Like people are very the word I'd use is transactional. You know, they're not there for the genuine connections, and they're not taking the time to really get to know people. Instead, they're just jumping in like, "Hey, here's my solution." Like, don't even know if you have the problem or not. They didn't even take the
Yeah.
time to ask. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a whole thing. So on this same topic, when you have started those relationships with people, what are you doing to nurture those relationships and build those deeper connections with those individuals?
You have to be giving. Like, you have to give without really looking for an immediate return. Like, that's like genuine relationship building. Yeah, you're dating someone, and you can just go there and, hey, I brought you flowers, now you should love me, right? Yeah, so you really have to provide value. You have to care. You have to give, and sometimes, eventually the other person will notice, like, you know I'm in your debt, right? You're always giving to me, and maybe it's time to return the favor, and you don't have to ask for it. you know and giving is not that hard. Sometimes you don't have to give a lot, you just have to give the right thing at the right time. And it doesn't have to be, a calculated give, right? So you shouldn't give with a hidden agenda, right? So I think that's key. Just give without really asking for anything in return, and you will eventually get back from someone who can open doors for you, or someone who can help you out when it's needed.
That's really sound advice. It kind of makes me think of the analogy of being like a farmer and like planting seeds with everyone, you
Right.
know, and it's like eventually you may come to reap what you've sown. But for a lot of the newer entrepreneurs and people who are kind of in those beginning stages, if they have taken that leap of faith, like you talked about, and left their 9 to 5, and now they're doing 24 hours, they can become pretty stressed. What advice do you have in terms of like being, I guess, more in line with like being patient and being faithful to the idea that if you continuously give, like eventually you'll get to a good spot, you know?
First of all, I'm always trying to look at things from the perspective of the day. I'm not saying I'm not looking ahead and I'm planning, but I'm personally trying to make every day whole. Yeah. So I want to have enough time with my family, enough time to, for myself, enough sleep. Yeah, enough sleep. Like, you don't know what, abandoning sleep, or just sleeping less than what your body requires is doing to you. So I'm and if you're feeling that days whole, you have at least a bit of everything that you want to see in your life. You won't be pulling through day by day by feeling you're missing something that, at some point you will get, but you have to pull through without, getting something out of life, right? So that's something I'm trying to do. And the other thing is, and what my software Bliss Compass is about, is becoming aware of what's happening to you, right? Because you can literally end up in a vicious cycle for a very long period of time if you're not paying awareness, for the very same reason what I mentioned, because of how humans operate. They, every day you kind of renew yourself, but that also means you kind of forget about what happened yesterday, right? And that's why you can remain stuck in these bad cycles for a very long period of time, because, like, it's a new day, it's okay, I can put up with it. And but if you're aware and you're able to connect the dots, you have the data, right? You can look at it and see, like, I'm not gonna do this from now on, no matter the pros, because I know it's not what I'm trying to align with, right? So you have to weed out these things, and sometimes it's painful, sometimes it comes with loss, but if it does good for you in the long term, you have to make it happen. Like, 5 years in a bad job or 5 years in a bad relationship, be it personal or a business relationship. Now, how much precious time you're wasting in that time span, right? And especially when you're young, you're in your at your best, physically, mentally, uh, and every year wasted when you're in that period of your life is disaster. So, and yeah, just get out. If it's not good, get out and find something that's better for you.
Definitely. I'm interested to learn more about the software you were just mentioning a minute ago, in terms of how it helps you. Did you say to get unstuck
Yeah,
essentially and make sure you don't get trapped?
yeah, very easy, stupid simple. And as much as people are using social media, I think everybody should be using it. And I'll tell you why. uh, a little bit of backstory. Okay, I read over 100 personal development books, and most of these books essentially will recommend you to do some kind of journaling, for the very same reason I was explaining. Yeah, you have to be aware of what needs to change to first have the motivation to change something. Otherwise, you're only going to change things on when they become very painful. So all these personal development books will eventually recommend you to journal. And even though I read these books, I wasn't journaling. It's too hard, right? Because when can you journal really? At the end of the day, or at the beginning of the day, and both of the timings are off. Why? At the end of the day, you're already too tired, right? You already forget half of what happened during the day. You're very bad at recalling, because every single thing happening will overwrite the things that happened before. And also, even though if you will remember at the end of the emotional intensity of that feeling, what you felt when that thing happened, will be much lower. Yeah, because you're at a different state, and you're tired, and you don't, and just want to rest, or the family is around. In the morning, you have forgotten even more, right? So you might be fresher, but you've forgotten more. So I was doing time tracking uh, through a software a very long for a very long ride, and I'm like, you're scrolling through social media and you're liking the events of other people's life, or what are they posting. So you're reacting to other people's life events, but are you doing that for yourself? Are you liking or disliking what you're doing? So I was like, you can actually combine time tracking with mood tracking, right? So now I created this software that's essentially a time tracking application, but at the end of every track session, it's asking you to rate how you felt about the specific action. It was stressful, or it was joyful, just an extra click, yeah, compared to what you've been doing. And that's like uh, atomic journaling, because you will have the action. You can also actually take notes when, if you feel like. You will have the feeling recorded at its highest intensity. Therefore, it will be the most accurate, and it's going to build you a historical record of what you're feeling stressed out about, what you're feeling, joyful about. And you just have to look at things at a given time range, and it's going to draw you a graph of your highs and lows, and you can zoom in and figure out what you need to get rid of. And the activity activity itself is is also raising your awareness, because you're stopping for a split second, right, to record that emotion. And that is raising your awareness. And what I realized, it's also stress relief, because it's like shouting a bit about the bad things that are stressing you out, when you're making marking that activity a stressful one. So it has previously unknown benefits as well, but the system itself is very simple. It's literally time tracking combined with mood tracking, and then you're building a historical data set that you can always revisit, zoom in, and find new directions you want to head to.
That's really cool. Two follow-up questions on that. First and foremost, what's the name and where can people access it? And then,
Blisscompass.com, as you hear it, Bliss Compass. So
okay,
find your bliss.
perfect.
Uh, it's
Mhm.
free, and it will be free forever, because I think like this is such a crucial skill. Everybody should be able to learn it and have a system that can make it a habit, right? You got the lexical knowledge taught in schools, but this is a personal development lesson that everybody should learn. Becoming aware of how you feel about things, and change directions when needed.
Definitely. So my second follow-up question then is, you said you've read over 100 personal development books, and you said that everything kind of points in this direction. Once you've started doing this activity for yourself, what have been some of the things that you've noticed as patterns of like, once you have identified what you're spending time with and then your mood associated with it, are you finding yourself removing the things from your schedule now that are causing stress and prioritizing the
Absolutely.
things that are more positive?
Yeah. Yeah. I made some really hard calls due to, uh, I'm being more aware of what's happening to me. So every time, like, I've been through like stressful periods, and this little app made me mark it a bad one, a very bad one. It was like, okay, now something's going on here. And I could have justified those actions without this additional awareness for a long period of time, but I just didn't. Yeah, I knew I had to change. And since then, luckily, I've been able to avoid, burnout. uh, I was able to get out of stressful situations, stressful relationships. And what's interesting is after a while you're doing this, it's becoming a habit to think this way, even if you're not using the application. You should actually set priorities if you want to go more granular when you're doing these trackings. And what I'm noticing is I'm thinking more in priorities, in, you know I'm mentally marking activities even if I'm not tracking that specific thing inside the app. So it's like you're rewiring your brain to think this way. So that's a benefit of, making it a habit, and making it a pattern of how you think.
I think that one of the layers that I'd love to dive in on this concept with you is a lot of that is around the behavior side of things and understanding how it affects things.
Yeah.
But one more topic on that is like your environment and how that influences your behavior and things of that nature as well. So if you wouldn't mind kind of sharing like some of the things that you've started to do to change and cater your environment to hitting those things that are more positive and the goals and ambitions that you have, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So obviously, I still read a lot, and uh, I'm becoming aware of my needs. Yeah. Sometimes you don't feel like doing one particular thing, right? And that doesn't mean that you should, force yourself to do that specific thing in the first place. But if you are able to uh, become active in another area of your life, that will eventually help you get into motion in that area where you have a blocker. So let me try to give you an example, right? uh, like, you're working out, that will affect everything in your life, because you become a doer, you become someone who's uh, doing the thing because it's beneficial, even though it's not necessarily joyful to, dress up and go running. So so you actually can balance yourself out by sometimes go more into the physical direction, sometimes nurturing yourself more in the mental space or in the relational space, right? Sometimes the best you can do yourself, and this was a good example, I think, from today, and it relates to awareness. Like, I'm like getting things done, going back and working on the business. But like today my son was, "Hey dad, it's a nice sun out here, I'm feeling so good." And at first I was like, "I got to do this thing, I have to go and get some things done." And I was like, I think the best I can do for myself and for my son is just stay for another hour, during lunch break. So, you know fuel yourself with what you enjoy. Make sure you have something you can tap into when you have lows. Like, family is very important for me. If I have a bad time and I can be more with my family, that will always get me out of that bad state, because I'm grateful for having them in my life. So you have to, yeah. And I think being grateful about something will always help you. So that's probably a good advice. Just find something you can be grateful about, and have new information that will change your current state. Like I'm always searching for a video or a book that will probably have some information nuggets that will pull me out of the situation that I'm looking to resolve at some point. So just build your library of what you can tap into when you need an extra source of motivation or you need to resolve a problem.
That's awesome. I'd love to kind of shift gears here real quick and head toward. I want to ask you, like you said, you've gone through and you've got this database of like 400 different two Comma Club award winners, funnels, and all that stuff. What are some of the trends and patterns and stuff that you've seen that you think have ultimately led to the success that all these individuals have had, yourself included?
Uh, Finding that specific angle that you can talk to people. Yeah. So if you find a new angle that's previously unheard of, or not, too worn out, like everybody's doing the hey coaches and consultants boring, right? Uh, Everybody knows that coaches are struggling. Yeah, but only those coaches are struggling who are trying to give generic advice, so the coaches who are niching down, calling out specific problem, they never struggle. That's true with everybody. And niching down sometimes is just a new messaging angle, right? So you will be in the same industry, in the same niche, but if you find your unique angle, and people will know you uh, for how you talk about the thing everybody's talking about, you will find your way to your audience. And I think most of the you know two Comma Club award winners are sharing this theme, that they found their messaging angle. Yeah, and they were able to capitalize on that. And you should look for patterns. Okay, what's unique here, and what's my twist? And normally your twist comes from your origin story, right? Because essentially, like, all the funnels are the same, right? So why is one funnel converting better than the other? Due to the uniqueness, right? So even if you're modeling, okay, you can model the same, you know, same funnel, but you have to make it unique to you. And even I'm incorporating that to my AI tools. There's one tool called the specificity improver, and the sole job of that tool is infuse your uniqueness into the marketing copy you're creating, pulling all the uniqueness, because that will make you stand out. And I think that's true for all the two Comma Club award. And one thing, yeah, this is a recent realization: you have to pay attention, yeah, because there are surface level things, and there are things that are hidden between the lines. Yeah, so you have to look deeper into what's immediately visible on the surface level. Yeah.
That's awesome. I think I totally agree. Just from the conversations I've done with the podcast and everything, one of the most critical things is niching down, as you say, and finding that one problem, or as you say, messaging. Because like some people are driven by pleasure, and so that's really cool.
Yeah.
I couldn't agree anymore. Um, so in your journey as an entrepreneur and everything, what do you think is your one superpower, the one thing that's kind of allowed you to hit the level of success that you have today?
Yeah. I call myself a reverse engineer. Yeah. So
I
I'm
love
reverse
that.
engineering everything. And I think Elon Musk, I like that guy a lot. I'm not gonna take sides right now, but I like. I'm just saying I like that guy a lot, and I learned some good things from him. And he's always talking about first principles reasoning, right? So what did he do with the rocket? Yeah, he wasn't a rocket engineer. What was he good at? With every single field he entered into, he was able to dissect what that problem is about, what kind of solution needs to be created to come up with a better approach, and he just laser focused on one thing, improved it, laser focused on the other thing, improved it, made it simpler, made it faster, made it more powerful, and improving here and there will eventually make the whole system a whole lot better. So I'm trying to I'm trying to dissect things, see where things are broken, fix it, and put it back together so they work better. And I think the funnel uh, perspective is a great perspective because everything is a funnel, right? You have some inputs, you want some output. Yeah, you have many people, you want the revenue, and then what happens in between? All right, many things happen in between, and if you are able to identify what happens in between and find where the biggest churn is, the biggest potential for error, for you know uh, making the system break, then you're able to fix it. So that's why I'm saying, just break it into steps, see where you have the biggest blockers, fix it, and then suddenly every system will have a better output. And that's true to your personal life, right? Stress, stress, stress. There's a problem, fix it. You will get a better life, right?
100%. That's really cool. I love that idea of being a reverse engineer. That's such a fascinating way of looking at it. And you made it. You were able to communicate how simple it is to just take something and like maybe you change one metric being the speed with which it gets done. And making it more efficient in that capacity, which is really cool. I know Alex Ramosi talks about that in his $100 million offers book, and that's a great way to get things going. So in terms of 2025, what are the big goals that you have this year?
So obviously, I want to get funnel hacker tools, the AI funnel hacking tool, to as many hands as possible because I understand the power. I just wish I could instill what's in my mind about how powerful it is. I'm working on how it's best to communicate it so they immediately grasp it. So yeah, I believe it will make the life of every single person who's using it much better, and the business results are much greater. So I want to run with it, get it into the hands of more funnel hackers, especially more agency owners. And I have the proof that you can beat the big dogs. So imagine how much of a power that is to someone who's alone and competing against uh, a market contender who has a big team. Power to the small guys. That's one of my missions, and obviously I have this other mission that I'm on with Bliss Compass. I'm having some good contacts who could help me reach more people with it. So because I feel this world needs more alignment, more awareness, and the big guys who are dictating the direction of our lives should be aware of what they're doing. And at one point, this is my wild imagination, right? Beyond you being able to rate and reflect on how you're liking what's happening to your life. I imagine a future when we can immediately vote about you know the things happening in our lives, what the leaders are doing, and just show them how we truly feel. So yeah, but I'm working on that. That's still a side project, but I'm hoping to grow it, and not only help people with their businesses, but with their personal lives. Because if you're not a happy person, your business won't be doing well for long.
That's very true. And I really like that idea of basically like I don't know if you want to call it like global voting or whatever, where you have that
Yeah,
easy
yeah, yeah,
access to do that. That's
yeah.
really cool concept there. I wouldn't be surprised if we see it before the end of our lifetimes, with the way everything's going.
Absolutely.
So that's awesome. Um, in terms of getting the funnel hacker tools in more hands, what do you think is kind of the big domino for making that happen?
There are some things I shouldn't be talking about, but as said, there are always someone who could, you know, make the big domino fall down and make it worldwide known. And I'm talking to some people who could make that happen. Uh, yeah. So there are funnel hackers, and there's a funnel hacker tool. You know, there's an obvious match, and there's someone who could, point out that, hey guys, I've got a movement here, and you've got a tool that serves this movement. Yeah. So aside from doing it on my own, growing it on my own, I'm looking to JV with people who are already tapping into the same market, because the solution exists. It just has to be introduced to the audience that's eagerly waiting for it and doing things the hard way right now, and they would be happy about a solution that makes their lives easier.
100%. That's awesome. Well, I really want to thank you for your time today. I feel like you dropped a ton of value and a lot of great perspectives. Where is it that people can reach out to you if they either want to get involved in your agency, grab some of your tools, or even just reach out to you personally?
Yeah, so I got a couple of domains that they can go to. Funnel.expert is basically the starting point of everything funnels. If you're new to the funnel space and you want to see what resources you should be aware of to accelerate your journey in the funnel world. And then obviously funnelhacker.tools is where the waitlist of the tool is. Currently, it's on a waitlist. We're doing some private launches, and these are the two domains that you should be aware of when it comes to what I'm doing. And obviously, blisscompass.com is the domain that you should visit if you want more balance, less stress in your life.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much again for your time today, and I look forward to seeing how things shape up for you in the rest of 2025.
Absolutely. Thanks for the opportunity, John. It was a fun conversation.